Well, thank you all for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Herman. I'm the membership coordinator with the International Wildlife Rehab Council. We're your hosts this morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is for you today. We're a professional organization for wildlife rehabilitators, and we're really excited to host Dr. Helina Jolly today, who's going to talk to us about Indigenous perspectives on wildlife coexistence.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you everyone. I'm looking at the chat and seeing people joining from so many parts of the world. Thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and I'm very fortunate that the organization invited me for this. So yeah, I'm very happy to share some of my work and discussions I do. Just a quick heads up, I'm recovering from a bad cold, so my voice is generally a bit more loud. So I'll try my best to talk more loudly so everybody can hear properly. Um, I see this work as more a work in progress. So there are a lot of things I'm still learning. There are a lot of things I'm unlearning. And I see this as a collective process. So every time I give a presentation, I am really hoping that I will learn from the questions that I get, ways in which I can improve my own work and collaboration and work. So yeah, I look forward to feedback. I look forward to questions. And I really hope you all enjoy listening to this talk. As you probably have seen from this particular talk's detail, I'm an interdisciplinary researcher. I'm also a National Geographic explorer and a documentarian who works with Indigenous people and local communities. I'm trained in zoology and slowly transitioned my academic disciplines into more of human geography and anthropology based work. In my research, I generally approach my study from three different lenses. One is studying or understanding indigenous and traditional ways of knowing and coexisting with the local environment, illuminate knowledge and practices erased by colonial and post colonial policies, collaborate to co design indigenous and community based conservation approaches. In my work, I often engage in conversations with community members. Majority of my methods, or largely my methods, have been inductive in their approach. By inductive, I mean that I usually don't go into communities asking big questions and having some kind of objective, but rather asking communities what are the stories that they want to communicate, what are the things that they want me to work on, something that would really help them understand, maybe, or understand or communicate their ways of knowing nature. And a large part of my work also involves walking and engaging in not just like sedentary based surveys or questions, but like walking and engaging with community members. And it has a lot of benefits in the way we try to understand and work with communities. And I just want to give you a brief video clip of showing a community member harvesting honey from in southern India. So this was shot while we were doing some walking interviews inside the forest. When you see this video clip, it's the 3 minute clip. You can see that there is one thing that the community member would explain in an interview, that how engaging in honey gathering as a process looks like. But it's one thing to hear, but it's one thing to actually see community member in action. So let me just play this one. I hope you can hear this properly. The conversations are in Malayalam and Katmalakan language, but you can see the subtitles.
ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಬಂದು ಕಾಪಾಡು ನಂಗ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹಸಿತ ಲೋಗ ತಡಿ ಮರ ಹೂಸಿ ಸನ್ ಮಳಗುಳಗ ನಂಗ ಬೇಕ ನೀನು ಲೋಗ ತಡಿ ಮರಲ್ ಬಂದು ನಂಗ ಹತ್ತನು ಮುತ್ತಪ್ಪನು ಅನ್ಕೊತ್ತ ಮರಲು ಒಂದು ಐದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಬಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಜೇನುಳು ಬಳಸಿ ಅದು ತುಪ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ಗ ನಂಗದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಿ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹಚ್ಚುವ ಟೈಮ್ಗ ಅದರ ನೀರು ಕೈ ಕೂಲಾಯಿ ಅದರ ಮನೆ ಹಿಡಿಸು ಕುಣಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ತಟ್ಟಿ ಎರಕಿ ಅದ್ರ ನಂಗೆ ತಿಂದು ಜನ ಪುರ ಜನ ಕಣ್ಣು ನೀರು ಕೈ ಸ್ವಾಮಿನ ಹುಳು ಇನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಲೆ ಕೊಳ್ಳ ಮರಿ ನಂಗನ ಸಂಗಡ ತೀರಲೆ ಕೊಳ್ಳ ನೀನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಂಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಎರಡು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕೂದಲ ಬಿರಿತೆ ಬರ್ತಿ
അപ്പം ചേട്ടൻ തേൻ എടുക്കുമ്പോ മുഴുവനായിട്ട് എടുത്തില്ല, കുറച്ച് വെച്ചു ബാക്കി.
കുറച്ച് നമ്മൾ അവിടെ മുകളിൽ വെച്ചു, എന്നിട്ട് പകുതിയാണ് നമ്മൾ എടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്.
എന്തിനാ കുറച്ച് ബാക്കി വെച്ചത്?
അതവിടെ ഈച്ചക്ക് ഒരു വേറെ പിന്നെ അതിന്റെ വീട് ആവണ്ട എന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് കുറച്ച് ബാക്കി വെക്കുന്നത്. മുഴുവൻ എടുത്താൽ നമുക്ക് ഒരു മനസ്സിന് രസം ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടില്ല. അതിന് രസം വെക്കണ്ട. ഇത് എത്ര ദിവസം കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട കുറച്ച് അതിന് വെക്കട്ടെ. പകുതി ഒഴിവാക്കി പകുതി എടുത്തു.
അപ്പം അടുത്ത വർഷം ആവുമ്പം ഇവിടെ ഇനിയും തേനുകൾ
അത് ഇതേ സാധനം അവിടേക്ക് എത്തിയിരിക്കും. എന്തായാലും നമ്മൾ കൂടുതൽ ഫുള്ളായിട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ടില്ല. കാടും തേനായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അത്രയ്ക്കും കുറച്ച് നമ്മൾ ബന്ധത്തിലാണ്. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഈച്ച സ്വല്പം കുത്തട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഇരിക്കാം.
തേന് കാട്ടുനായ്ക്കൾക്ക് ഒരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യമാണ് അല്ലേ?
തേനെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം പഴയ കാലത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ തേൻ കാട്ടിക്കിഴങ്ങ് തിന്ന് ഇങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുവന്ന സംഭവമാണ്.
So, in this particular small clip of the video, which was part of the larger documentary that I made as part of my work, you can see how community members don't see honey as a non-timber forest product per se. It's more than that. There is entangled relations, there is history, there is lived experiences, which is part of every interaction with the forest. So in my work, I've been very fortunate to have worked with communities in Canada, Niapyukuk First Nations, Katunaiken people, hunter-forager communities in southern India, and traditional farming communities. Large part of my work is mostly around these big topics or themes, which are human-wildlife coexistence, the cultural burning and land management practices, the meanings and values of land, and biocultural food system. In today's talk, I'll be going more into details on some of the insights and observations I gathered during my work with communities in different parts of the world on human-wildlife coexistence. Now, sorry, in around 2016, when I was in southern India, specifically Wayanad, which is nestled within the Western Ghats area. It's one of the high biodiversity areas of the world, and it's extremely beautiful green forested areas. So while I was walking with a community member, elder, the elder asked me this question: what if wild animals were not managed but listened to? And what if they were intelligent and sentient beings like us? Now, this question came from elder when we were having these discussions on human understandings about wildlife, how Katunaiken communities in southern India understand wildlife. And being someone who is trained as a zoologist, I'm very new to some of the disciplines of anthropology and human geography. My first immediate reaction to this particular question was to say, we are different and humans are exceptional. We have intelligence, and so it's not the same. Like we humans and animals are not the same. And the elder laughed and he said, you have no understanding about the natural world and you need to take more time to understand. And in some ways, I completely agree with elder that, at that point, I required a lot more unlearning and learning about how humans in many cultures, in many societies, looked at animals. And it was completely different from the um, very Western lens of looking at animals. Now, this particular quote by Elizabeth Marshall Thomas really stuck home when I was looking at some of the aspects of the work on human wildlife coexistence. Now, ever since Neolithic, we have distanced ourselves from other species, modifying our language, our laws, our thoughts accordingly. A person is either a he or a she, an animal is an it. We have thoughts, they have instincts. We have language, and they have vocalizations. We have culture, and they just run around in woods doing whatever it is they do. Now, the question that the Adivasi or the indigenous elder asked me, what if wild animals were not managed, but listened to? What if they were intelligent and sentient beings? These are not just rhetorical questions. These, I believe, are philosophical realizations for us, many of us who work very closely on topics around human wildlife interactions.